Fight fans, fight fans, fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Logan Paul, Floyd, Money Mayweather. Get this. Logan Paul is suing Floyd Mayweather for millions of dollars. It appears that Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather will go another round against each other, but this time it's outside the boxing ring. Floyd Mayweather Jr. and YouTube celebrity Logan Paul once fought in an exhibition boxing match in front of a packed crowd at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida, despite the fight selling over 1 million purchases by pay-per-view sales. The skeptics grew weary of the fact that the fight between Mayweather Jr. and Paul had no rules or judges. The fight took place regardless, and to nobody's surprise, no real winner was crowned, and neither participant in the bout earned any balance of the knockout loss. Less than a year later, Mayweather Jr. and YouTube star could go head-to-head once again, only this time it could take place in a courtroom. While making an appearance at Hard Rock Hotel in New York, Paul was asked about Saul Canelo Alvarez lost to Dimitri Bivol, and Paul states that it sucks for Canelo to take the loss and admits it's a notably small stain on an otherwise great boxing record. Attention then changed gears towards Paul less than 1 year ago with Floyd Mayweather Jr., and he was asked about his payment and if he received it in full. Reports indicate that the post-fight, Floyd Mayweather Jr. himself made $100 million from the fight. Paul admits that he has still not received his promised amount of the cut and showed signs of frustration in statements. Quote, "We're taking him to court," Paul said, and he made it crystal clear earlier that he was completely serious with this statement. Estimations indicate that Paul made around $10 million from the fight, a drop in the bucket compared to Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s cut, but a significant amount nonetheless. While the Pokemon card Paul wore around his neck during his entrance in worth more than $150 million for mint condition format, he's more concerned about Mayweather Jr. being a man of his word. Paul was vocal in making sure his entire amount was paid, and even mocking that Mayweather was going to prison for his injustice. Let me counterpunch. I knew this would happen if Floyd didn't pay him. We know what's going on at the PBC, Al Heyman, Showtime, and the info has been cracked wide open, people. When Canelo fought Caleb Plant last year, they had to give him $50 million. And I think because they did that, I think they couldn't pay Canelo and then pay Logan. So what they did, they gave Logan the back seat, basically. I think they gave him a retainer of what the money was, but not in full. And then in turn, paid Canelo what he was worth, because that's what they owed him. And I think they did that for more than a few reasons, right? For one, Canelo Alvarez is the cash cow, then he will sue you and he'll be very well entitled to win that case. Two, they wanted Canelo to fight on their platform again, so they can't fuck over him. So yeah, pay him because he's the cash cow. We want to bring the cash cow in, because one thing about Floyd, the same way he wanted with Canelo, is like how he did Manny Pacquiao. He got Al Heyman to sign Manny Pacquiao on the strength that he would have a rematch with Manny, and then snubbed Manny and made Manny fight Keith Thurman, who else was it? Adrian Broner, and La Machina, Lucas Matisse, okay? So that, not in that order, but that's what I believe they wanted to keep and pay Canelo and do right by him. And then it would also show that Floyd was broke, and I don't think people would want to give off that perception, because I don't think he's broke, but I think a lot of his money is wrapped up with the PBC, and I think Al Heyman is using Floyd's money to finance fights. That's why a lot of these guys don't really have a set purse. They use the pay-per-view, so they have you and me to pay for these guys' fight purses and guarantee you what they owe them based on the sales that you and me pay pay-per-view to see. Bars. So I think at the end of the day, Floyd has messed over Paul because he doesn't really respect him. And I think what happens when you're suing anybody, I'm not a legal expert, but as long as you pay someone something, they can't sue you. I don't care if you give them $10, $20 or whatever. You're still showing that you're making an effort to pay them. However, that is a certain window of time, though. If you haven't paid this man what you owe this man can still take your ass to court. And I think that's happening with Logan Paul now. And it sucks because a guy like Logan Paul used his platform to bring it to the sport of boxing and juice it up a bit, even though this is a lot of casual people are really not even boxing fans at all. But I do feel that Logan Paul should be owed his money if Floyd, Money Mayweather got paid. Because see, here's the deal. If you knew you had to pay someone $10 million and you know you got paid $100 million, just pay him his fucking money. And call it a day. So it makes Floyd, Al, PBC, Showtime, Fox, it makes all that look bad. It makes them look bad. It makes them look like they're broke. It makes them look unprofessional. And it doesn't look good at all. It's a bad look. But if I was Logan Paul, I would do exactly the same thing. You guys tell me what you think of Logan Paul saying that he's going to take Floyd Mayweather to court, and he's dead serious on that. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.